Good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here today. Today, me, Prabhat Shrestha, here with my friend Samundra Poudel, are really pleased to have the chance to speak with you about two influential figures in early childhood education, that is Maria Montessori and John Dewey. The season is all about exploring how their ideals help shape what we do here in our early childhood service. We'll look at their philosophies, their view on children, how they see the role of parents and teachers, the kind of environment they advocate for, and the types of learning experience that they support. By understanding where these ideas come from, we can better understand why we do things the way we do in our classroom and how we can work together to support our child's development. Let's start by introducing these two key figures. Maria Montessori was an Italian doctor and educator who began working with young children in the early 1900s. She was pioneer in many ways, especially in the way she respected children's capacity to learn and make choices. John Dewey, on the other hand, was an American philosopher and psychologist who believed that education should be deeply rooted in the real life. For Dewey, schools were places where children would actively engage with ideas, test out their thinkings, and grow into thoughtful, responsible citizens. Although their approaches differ, they both share a respect for children as capable learners. They both believe in the importance of relationship, environments, and meaningful experience in shaping and learning. Why are we focusing on these two thinkers today? The answer is simple. Their ideals are still highly relevant and practical. They give us very concrete ways to think how children grow, how they learn, and what kind of support they need from the adults. Montessori offers structured yet flexible framework that support children independence. Her approach is grounded in observation and careful preparation. Dewey gives us a framework for thinking about learning as a social process, something that happens best when children are actively engaged in meaningful experience with others. Together, their perspectives complement each other. By combining aspects of both, we can create environments that are responsible, inclusive, and nurturing. Maria Montessori believed children are born with a natural drive to learn. She saw learning not as something imposed from outside, but as something that arises from the within. Children are curious by nature. They want to explore, to understand, to make sense of their world. She also introduced the concept of the observant mind, the idea that young children take in information from the surrounding effortlessly, simply by being in the environment. That's why she put so much emphasis on creating a carefully prepared intentional space. Montessori saw children as independent learners when they are given the freedom to choose meaningful activities that match their development needs. They become deeply focused, self motivated, and joyful in their learning. Montessori also believed strongly in the role of parents and co-educators. She encouraged parents to support independence at home by allowing children to participate in everyday tasks like dressing themselves, helping with cooking or tidying up, and other things. She outlined stages of development, with each stage marked by a specific sensitive period. These are windows of time when a children is particularly attuned to learning a specific skills like a language or other. When we align our support with these periods, children can master skills more naturally. The environment for Montessori was almost like a third teacher. She believed that the space should be calm, orderly, and scaled to the child's size. Materials should be hands-on and designed to be self-correcting so children can learn through their own trial and error. The, this encourages confidence and resilience. In a Montessori setting, the curriculum is made up of practical life skills, sensory activities, languages, mathematics, and cultural subjects. Children move freely between activities that interest them, developing autonomy and concentration. The teacher in this environment takes on a different role than in more traditional settings. Montessori describes teachers as guides, people who observe closely, identify children's interests and needs, and then gently offer materials or activities that supports their development. The idea is to follow the child, like not in a passive way, but with a great intention and awareness. Teachers step in when needed, but always with the goal of helping the child become more independent, focused, and self-directed.
Thank you, Prabhat. Hi, my name is Samundra Poudel, and from here I'm gonna take over the presentation. Here I'm gonna talk about the John Dewey view of the child. So, John Dewey offered a different but equally valuable perspective. He saw the child not only as a curious learner, but as an inherently social being. Learning for Dewey doesn't happen in isolation, it happens through interactions, through doing, through experience. He was particularly interested in the idea that children learn best when they are actively engaged in meaningful tasks. He promoted learning through inquiry, asking questions, testing ideas, solving problems, and reflecting on what worked and what didn't. For Dewey, education was not about memorizing facts, it was about developing the habit of mind that would help children become thoughtful, democratic citizens who could contribute to their communities. And the next slide is Dewey parents, development and environment. Dewey also saw a vital role for parents. He encouraged them to be active participants in the educational process, not just as supporters at home, but as contributors to the broader learning community. He viewed development as ongoing and shaped by the environment. Children grow by engaging with real life problems and reflecting on their experiences. Development doesn't happen in isolation, it happens through doing and discussing. In terms of the environment, Dewey advocated for classrooms that are open ended, responsive, and democratic. Children should feel free to express their ideas, explore materials, and work together to find solutions. It is a model that supports critical thinking and community values. And the next slide is Dewey curriculum and teacher role. Dewey approach to curriculum is based on experiences that are relevant and meaningful to the child, rather than sticking strictly to preset lessons. Teachers plan activities that connect with children's real-life interests and questions. Teachers are seen as co-learners and facilitators. They support children's inquiries by helping them ask deeper questions, explore different perspectives, and reflect on what they have learned. This kind of teaching requires flexibility, patience, and a genuine curiosity about how children think. It is about creating space for conversation, experimentation, and collaborative problem solving. The next slide is implications and influence on teaching. So, what does this mean for us educators and for you as a parents? From Montessori, we take the value of careful observations, respect for the child independence, and the importance of a calm and purposeful environment. We design our spaces and routines to support children in doing things for themselves and developing their own interest. From Dewey, we draw on the power of social interaction, inquiry-based learning, and reflection. We encourage children to ask questions, share their ideas, and make sense of the world together. When we bring these two approaches together, we can offer children a rich, balanced experiences, structured enough to support independence, yet open-ended enough to allow exploration and creativity. The next is discussion questions. Now, I would love to hear from you. We have covered a lot of ground today, two different philosophies, lots of ideas about children and learning. Now let's discuss about the questions and think together. Which approach do you feel aligns more with your child's personality or learning styles? Do they seem to thrive with structure and independence, like in Montessori method, or do they prefer collaborative, hands-on experiences like David describes? And secondly, how can we educators and families work together to support your child's learning at home and here in the services? So, these are the ongoing conversations, and your insights are so valuable. Every child is different, and we want to work with you to find the best ways to support their growth. Here are some of the references that we took from the sources. And thank you again for your attentions and your time today. If you would like to read more about either Montessori or Dewey, the references on the slides are a great place to start. So, in this way, we have finished our presentation. Thank you.